former Reagan Council of Economic Advisors chairman and former Jeb Bush economic senior advisor, Marty Feldstein. Martin, good to see you. Thanks so much for joining us.
Great being with you, Maria.
All right, let's talk about Trump's economic plan, your takeaway.
I don't think he knows what his plan is. I sure don't know what his plan is. What he says is, I'd like to do A, but it won't pass. So what are we supposed to think?
How would you characterize the economy, and what do you need to see out of Donald Trump to actually move the needle on growth?
I think the economy is in good shape.
Okay.
I think that with an unemployment rate of 5%, with inflation around 2% and rising, I think the economy is in good shape. I worry about what the Fed is doing. You and I have talked about it before, with the Fed keeping interest rates super low. I think we're building risks into the economy. If we want to get stronger growth going forward, I think serious tax reform, particularly in the business and the corporate area, would be a good thing. Whether we can get that through Congress, that remains to be seen.
And that's one of the things Trump wants to do, you guys, because he says that he wants to make sure the middle class get sizable tax cuts and that business doesn't pay more than 15%.
Yeah, Martin, we spend a lot of time talking about the particulars of the Trump plan, but I think we sort of glaze over the fact that he makes what he wants to do very easily accessible to the American voter. So when he says, sure, I think rich people are going to have to pay more, I think that's easy for them to digest, even though some of us who are policy wonks don't quite understand the cognitive dissonance there between his plan and what he's saying. How do you interpret that from a marketing perspective?
I think that he knows how to put out good one-liners. I think the key question is what will get through the House of Representatives. Frankly, I don't think Donald Trump is going to be our next president. So I think the key question is going to be, if Hillary is our next president, does she want to negotiate with Paul Ryan to get things through the House, or does she want to blame Republicans for her failure to get things done?
Which is what the issue was over President Obama, actually.
Sure.
I mean, even the Republicans said, look, we're going to get lots of bills on the president's desk. We didn't see that because it was stopped in the Senate.
Sure, sure. And that could happen again.
So Hillary Clinton's tax plan, then. You think Hillary will be the next president? Talk to us about her tax plan.
So she doesn't have a very articulate tax plan.
She wants to raise $1.1 trillion in new taxes.
How is she going to do it? Ultimately, the House of Representatives is going to be the block that is going to stop things that you and I don't want to see happen. So, as I said, the key question, if she's president, is does she want to negotiate with Paul Ryan in order to have something to show for the next few years, or does she want to spend her time attacking Republicans for their failure to cooperate with her?
Unless they lose seats in the House and Senate.
Well,
that's also
they could lose seats in the Senate easily. I think in the House it's very unlikely that they will lose control of the House. So I think that puts Paul Ryan and the Republicans in a good position to prevent bad things from happening.
So I think a lot of people can say Trump's plan isn't the right one, Hillary's plan isn't the right one. What would you say the right one is?
That's a great question.
Well, the big problem from a fiscal point of view is the long-term deficits. Our debt is growing very rapidly.
So what do we do about it?
We have to slow the growth of entitlements. And we have not heard that. At least I haven't heard that from Trump, but maybe I'm not listening carefully enough, and we haven't heard it from Hillary either. But I think that's the reality. If we don't do that, we're going to see the deficit and the debt going up and up.
So you advised Jeb, and you just said that you think that Hillary will win the presidency. And of course, Jeb Bush said over the weekend or end of last week that he will not be voting for Donald Trump. What are you going to be doing?
I don't know what I'm going to be doing in terms of voting.
But, I mean, your take on this whole, pushback on Donald Trump. I mean, the Republicans are going to lose the White House again because of their inability to get together. Wouldn't you say that's part of the issue?
Yeah, but they don't want to get together with Donald Trump. So I think...
So this is about principles.
At this point, this doesn't sound like a Republican president. On foreign policy, it doesn't sound like it. We just don't know. And there's too much uncertainty surrounding Trump's policies in foreign policy and trade.
You know, the thing that I find fascinating, though, is we see something like 59% of Americans right now are saying, I don't trust the federal government, I don't trust the establishment. And so I think to dismiss Donald Trump as a viable, you know, alternative to Hillary Clinton when people just aren't energized by her is at our own peril.
Absolutely.
And look at the euphoria behind Trump when you look at the general voter.
Yep, no, there's no question. And he's
So-
done a wonderful job of marketing himself. And I don't say that he couldn't do it again. I think if you have to bet, I would bet that we're going to have Hillary in the White House, and then it's going to be very important that we have strong Republican control in the House of Representatives to make sure that she's forced to negotiate rather than to think that she can simply put the blame on them for her failure to get policies through.
But look at Obama. I mean, a lot of people said, look, he's going to have to negotiate. He just went around Congress and did executive orders and rolled over lots of the Republicans.
Yeah, but there's a limit to what you can do. You can't
Yeah.
change taxes that way. So I think that, and I think she is much more likely to be a negotiator than Obama was. He never really found himself in that position.
All right, we will leave it there. Marty, Fed hike when? June?
I wish it were, but I'm not sure.
Okay, maybe not this year.
God knows.
Marty Feldstein joining us there. Good to see you, sir.
Good to see
Thank you so
you.
much. Come on.